in your sales, to do more in your private practice, to try something new, to go at it, with all that you have, let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments. It has been amazing, right? Yes, Dr. Todson, good to see you. From day one of becoming the physician entrepreneur that you need to become, right? Learning how to fill our schedule, to getting paid for the work we do. And then yesterday's session on team was just mind blowing. Oh my goodness. So much that we learned about having a profitable team, making sure that your team members are actually paying for themselves, and making sure that your practice is running like a business. So it's just been amazing. Dr. Edwin says, always amazing. Thanks, EntreMD team. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So today we've got a very, very special treat. So if you have not already, I'm going to put the link to the workshop in the comments because this is huge. I always tell people Dr. Una can change your life in 15 minutes. So that is the link to the workshop. If you know anyone, any physician, please share that with them because she is going to be answering questions. And it's not just questions about PPPM, although we will answer questions if you have questions about the movement. A number of us have already joined the movement. So congratulations to everyone that joined. But if you have questions also about anything that we talked about this week, about filling your schedule, about getting paid for the work you do, about team, she's going to be here to answer them. Like that is a huge, huge opportunity. So share the link, let people know that they should come on. Dr. Bostic says, I renewed my PPPM membership yesterday. Oh my goodness. Welcome to year two. Dr. Una says, absolutely. Congratulations. We are so glad to have you. So glad and proud of all your stories yesterday that you showed us. So we are going to get started. The way we're going to do this is if you have any questions with either about team, filling your schedule, getting paid for the work you do, or any, you would say my question is, and you just type it in the comments, and then Dr. Una and I will do our very best to answer. So let's get started. Who's excited? Let me know, Dr. Una.
Dr. Una is always excited. When Dr. Una gets to talk to doctors, she's excited. You're sure of what's going on. Okay, we're going to do some big energy in the chat. If you're excited to be here, I want you to throw up some emojis. Let's do that. Okay, because we're here to change. Hi, Dr. Todson. It's been so fun hanging out with you this week. And now you're in PPPM, so we get to hang together for a long time. Okay, so you're excited to be here. You're ready to change. We've heard all the stuff. We said no to it. We're looking forward to 2026, not based on fantasy thinking. We're looking forward to 2026 because we're doing the things that will make us succeed in 2026. Okay. Dr. Nadia says Friday night with Dr. Una. Let's do it. Let's do it. It's going to be so much fun. Okay. So like Makita said, what we're going to do is we're going to answer questions. Some of your questions will be about the content we've done. It might be something that's going on in your practice. It might be about PPPM, whichever. We're here to do that for you, okay? And I want you to remember, like the things that you learned this week, they're so, so, so powerful. What I typically tell my clients, Dr. Edwin is here, so he knows, like when I do events, I tell them the gravitational pull of your former self is real, right? So we're not going to walk away from this workshop and not implement. We're not going to walk away from this workshop and walk away from the environment that created it, right? Because if we go back to the same old places where we used to be doing the same old things, we're going to get the same results. We're going to have the same mindset. It will only be like a few weeks and you're like, I don't even know what Dr. Uno is talking about. And we're not going to do that, okay? Because we're going to change, okay? So I want you to lean in. I want you to ask your questions. When the questions get asked, I'm going to broaden it so it will be a gift to everybody. Okay. And we're also going to hear from some doctors in the chat. Let me know how many of you really enjoyed hearing the stories of the doctors. We had Dr. Funke, we had Dr. Anderson, we had Dr. Nichelle Brown. And then yesterday we had Dr. Bostic. Weren't those stories so amazing for you to see? This is not just theory. These things actually work, right? They actually work. Hi, Dr. Chiadoze. Okay, they actually work. Okay, so we're going to hear some stories from them. And then I I've been saving this bonus for today. Now, everybody who signed up since Monday is going to get it, but for the first time ever in May, we are going to have a private practice summit. We have never done this. We have never had a private practice summit. And we're going to have a summit in May. And for everybody who signs up, so in this period, right, up until, what did we say, Sunday at midnight? Sunday at midnight, everybody gets to get 50% off the ticket, right? So we're talking $1,500 off. Okay, so you get to come like for almost nothing for a 2-day conference. That's all private practice, deep, deep, deep dive. You see what we've done in an hour a day. Imagine what will happen, right? Imagine what will happen to you if you're immersed in this for 2 days in communities where you can have conversations with people. Dr. Maxwell is like, when can I sign up? Okay. Yeah, don't worry. We'll send you the details and all of that, but it will be May. What is it, Makita? May 15th and 16th. I just work here. Makita runs my life. May 15th and 16th. Okay. That's the date that that's the day we're going to have it. But everybody here, everybody who signs up, who pays in full, is it full, everybody? I don't know. Makita is the boss of me, but yes, you'll get that bonus. So just for that bonus, I mean, it's $1,500 off and the movement is $19.97. Like, do the math. Okay. So you're practically in the movement for free. Okay. All right. So, Makita, I'm going to call you up and so we can go through some questions and then we'll bring the first story off. The conference will be in Atlanta. Thank you for asking. It's going to be in Atlanta, Georgia. One straight flight from anywhere because of Delta, I think. Okay. All right, Makita, you're up. What questions do we have? Okay, guys, make sure you post your questions. We don't want to walk away. 15th and 16th, it's a Friday and Saturday of May. That's when the conference is. It's going to be so fun. So fun. Okay. All right.
Oh.
So questions you have about your private practice, questions about the things that we have done over the last 5 days. Dr. Maxwell is like, let me go block my schedule. Or questions about the movement, whichever. Okay. So Makita, I know you talk to a lot of doctors and you have a lot of questions. So while they're typing in their questions, I will just have we can work through some of those.
Okay. Okay. Can you hear me? Okay. One of the major questions that I always get is, I haven't started my practice yet, or I'm just starting my practice. Would PPPM be good for me?
Okay, yeah, okay. So that's an awesome question. And we get that question a lot. Okay. I haven't started my private practice. Will this be good for me? Or I just started my private practice. Will this be good for me? So let me take you back to day one of this workshop. Okay. So hear me when I say this. Think about what happens when you start a practice. So maybe you're working a job, then you decided I'm going to make the leap. I'm going to start a practice. Then you go sign up, you get a lease, and then maybe you pay somebody to do your credentialing. You hire a front desk person, you hire an MA. None of these activities have made you go from physician to physician entrepreneur. None of these activities have taught you how to think like an entrepreneur, how to map your time like an entrepreneur, how to market, how to sell, how to lead a team, how to do any of those things. So if you follow me on social media, you will hear me make this statement: that's opening a practice does not make you an entrepreneur. Becoming an entrepreneur makes you an entrepreneur. Right? And who builds a thriving private practice is an entrepreneur. The physician part of you takes great care of patients. The entrepreneur part of you takes care of the business, right? And so in my day, there was no PPPM, there was no EBS, there were none of these things. And so I had to go to the School of Hard Knocks. Guess what you don't have to do? You don't have to go to the School of Hard Knocks because you can get into this container. You can learn about building a 7-figure plan, how to build a marketing plan, how to build a referral base, how to have meetings with your team, how to learn how to hire profitably. And you get to hear the stories of people who've been there, done that, and have 10 t-shirts. And they tell you all the mistakes they've made so you can avoid them. The best thing you can do for yourself is do it before you start. Okay. And if anybody's here and you are in PPPM and you are seasoned in private practice, you can let the people know in the comments, like, what you think about that. Like, what if you knew the things you know now before you opened your doors? Because people say make this statement, ignorance is bliss. In entrepreneurship, ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance is expensive. Ignorance costs money, right? When you hire a team member, you don't know how to lead them properly, that costs money, right? Like all of it. So yeah, so the best time to do it is now. And I wish that I had, well, I don't really do regrets, right? So I don't necessarily wish I had it, but because I know it would be good, I made it available for you. Okay. So yeah, so 1000% entremd.com/movement, 1000%. Yeah.
Awesome. So, with Dr. J is asking if new in private practice and plan to hire doctors for the future of the practice, what would you be doing now?
If you're new in practice and plan to hire doctors, the most important thing to do would be to get profitable, right? Like, so if you're going to hire doctors, that's not something you're doing in phase one. Phase one is to get the practice off the ground, get it profitable, and all of those things. And then with those profits, you can then hire the doctors. And so this is a really great question because when you think about the growth of your business, it is in phases, right? In EBS, we talk about the pace of grace. It's in phases. So now that you just started, spending your energy thinking about how to hire will distract you from doing what needs to be done, which is get the practice profitable, because it's the profits that will pay the doctor, it's the profits that will pay the support team and all of those things, right? So the starting point is start doing the marketing, start doing the selling, get the patients in, learn how to get paid for the work you do, lead the team, like your support team, your MA, front desk, VA, all of those things, get a proof of concept, get the profits, then based off of that and the brand you've built, you bring in a new doctor. So I wouldn't even worry about the hiring piece for hiring a physician right now. I would worry about not worry, but I'll focus on getting it off the ground, getting it profitable. That's the number one assignment. Yeah, that's the number one assignment. That's a great question.
All right, thank you, Dr. Una. Dr. Kiswani Barley says, my question is, as a pre-revenue company, which is a telehealth practice, how do you land that patient number one?
Okay, so Dr. Vantana, you are in the profitable private practice movement. So congratulations on making the decision. In your portal, there is a training on the 7-figure marketing plan. And there's another training on how to build your 7-figure referral base. Those 2 trainings are your best friends. There's a third one on how to optimize your Google profile. So those 3, because the idea is if I have no patients, how do I get patients? I extrovert into the marketplace. That's what I do, right? Now, so for instance, think about it. If you had 6 referral sources who are preferentially referring to you, you have a ton of patients. Do you see what I mean? And so it's to work that marketing plan. So that could look like building a referral base, speaking locally at events and stuff like that, showing up on social media, right? Having an optimized Google profile. So when people Google certain things, you pop up. That will be the way to start. And so if you go all in on those things, you're opening up a lot of doors for yourself. Yeah. And then once you start getting any patients at all, they become your raving fans for the next set of patients. So you're asking them for referrals and all of that. Yeah. Yeah. So those 2 trainings, they're in the portal. Watch them. They'll rock your world. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Una. Dr. Jennifer asks the best way to reach out to new referral sources or practices.
Okay. Great question. And I like the question because referral sources will do wonders for your practice. Okay. We had a doctor, and I like to tell her story all the time. She worked on a referral source for 11 months. I want you to think about it, which means if she started working on them in January, they didn't say yes till November. She worked on them for 11 months. Eventually they said yes. She thought they had 19 clinicians. Turns out they had 42 clinicians. And when she got in, they're like, oh my goodness, we've been looking for somebody just like you. Okay. So they say yes. And they start sending her referrals. It turns out to be 5 to 7 referrals a day. 5 to 7 referrals a day. Why do I say this? Because referral sources can rock your world. Okay. I also say this because you may need to talk to them a lot of times before they say yes. Some people say yes right up the back, but a number of other people won't. Okay. So how do we reach out to new referral sources? If you are local, okay, and you have people either you trained with or you know people who are referral sources, I would work that angle because that angle works faster. There was a doctor that I worked for before I started my own practice, and she's a pediatrician, obviously. She had three friends who were OBGYNs who are like, oh, we'll get you busy. She was so busy by month 6 that she needed to hire me. I want you to think about that by 6 months in. So if you have personal contacts who could be referral sources, don't be afraid to ask them. Don't be ashamed. Don't say, oh, I don't want to be needy or seem desperate. You're not desperate. You're asking, you want to grow your business. So if you have personal contacts that could be referral sources, reach out to them. If you have personal contacts who have access, like, oh, let me do a three-way text with you and this other person who will be a referral source, ask them. Ask your personal contacts. Don't be afraid. Your personal contacts, they're part of your assets. Sometimes when we start businesses, we don't want to talk to them at all, but they'll help us, they'll support us, right? So that's one. The third thing is find where your referral sources go to. Are there open houses that they go to? Are they in the hospital lounge? Whatever, wherever they are, and build relationships with them. Why? People work with people they know, like, and trust, right? And so if you can build that relationship, that works. And then finally is just cold calling, right? Like, hey, I'm pediatrician, I'm in the area, da 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 da, I'd love to meet with you, and then go meet with them, right? So those are some of the ways. You have an office manager, you can also do office manager to office manager, right? So your office manager can work referral sources as well. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Dr. Una. The next question is from Dr. Sayuri. Is entrepreneurship a skill that everyone can learn? Have you had anyone who was not trainable?
Yeah, so entrepreneurship is a skill that anybody can learn. Everybody won't learn it, but anybody can learn it. I think what makes the people I've seen who seemed untrainable were people who were in resistance. Not that they couldn't learn it, but they didn't want to, right? Like I have a private practice, but I don't want to market, right? I don't believe I should market. This other person just hired a marketer. That's what I'm going to do, right? So I think the most painful part of entrepreneurship is the resistance. Like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to put myself out there. I'm a private person. I don't want to be on social media. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. If you treat entrepreneurship like a buffet, it will hurt. If you treat it like, I'm an entrepreneur, I do what must be done, then it will work, right? And to be very clear, when I talk about entrepreneurship, um, for instance, someone may think an employed physician can't be an entrepreneur, right? An employed physician could be an entrepreneur. In the EntreMD world, we call them intrapreneurs, okay? And what that means is they work for themselves, and then they almost like lease 8 hours of their day to their bosses, but they negotiate like bosses. They understand the bottom line. They can have full on conversations with CEOs and CFOs and all of those things and hold their own. I mean, like, we have a doc who is an employed physician. She's in the EntreMD Business School, and she negotiated for a hospital to get coaching for all the doctors, MPs, PAs, right? She negotiated to get a scribe. She's like, if you give me a scribe, I can see X number of patients, which will create this much revenue, which will pay for itself many times over, right? She negotiated for 12 weeks of vacation a year. Do you see what I'm saying? So even though she works a job, that is an entrepreneur, right? So she learned the skills. So yeah, so it's more so not wanting to do the work. And the work is not too hard. We're physicians, okay? We've worked harder. It's just that it's different work, right? And so it can be more nerve-wracking. It could be more, there's more messiness than with, as physicians where we want more of perfection. But yeah. So yeah, the answer is yes. Yeah, it's a skill. We can learn it.
All righty. And then Dr. Kwan, I think we answered his question at the time when he posted that we were talking about if you haven't opened your practice yet, would the profitable private practice movement be good for you?
Yeah.
And
So let me talk about that one more time. And I say this because, man, guys, so we find ourselves in very challenging times as physicians, right? Like we've never had this before. When I went into medicine, it was the era of hang the shingle and they will come. We literally had monopoly. Like, right? Like we owned the space, not because we were like we must own this space, but nobody else was in the space. But then and now, it's a completely different game. So whether you're employed, whether you're building a personal brand, whether you have a private practice, whether you're a coach, it doesn't matter. The saving grace of physicians in the times we live in is layering on entrepreneurial skills on the skills we have. It is risky for any physician not to be entrepreneurial. Why? Who's going to take care of you? Who's going to take care of your career? Think about the number of physicians being fired. Think about the number of private practices we own going out of business. Think about the shenanigans of the insurance company. Think about what PE is doing. Like, there is nobody coming to save us. And with all the changes that have happened, if all we have is the same old rules, we are going to be out of luck. So I want to invite everyone to go like, I must retool myself. I must retool myself. I must layer on skills. I can't say, oh, this is the way it's always been. No, the world is changing way too quickly for us to say that, right? So this is for everyone. So we don't wait to start a business to become entrepreneurial. We don't say, oh, but my business is doing okay and I got away with all these things and decide not to learn the things. No, this is the time when we must embrace being entrepreneurs, like 1,000%. This is the answer. Yeah.
Thank you for that, Dr. Una. And I'm going to do this one more question before we go to our first guest. This is from Dr. Whitney West. I'm late to the workshop, but have you discussed the strategies to manage the change in insurance coverage coming January 1st? The announcement came yesterday that the subsidies for ACA will not be renewed. Insurance-based practices will be affected because of changes with patient insurance coverage issues, which is, I think, what you've already been talking about, the changes that we have to make.
Yeah, so Dr. West, that's a really good question, and I do have to do a master class on that one of these days before before the year runs out. But there's a way to look at it, right? For instance, many of us who are insurance based, we love our cash verticals, right? Because we're like, okay, we don't have to get the biller involved, don't have to do all of these things. And so, in a way, this will almost force insurance based practices to be a little bit of a hybrid model, right? And so, if there's so many people who are going to be without insurance, the question becomes, what is your self pay, AKA cash clinic protocol, going to be? This is how much we're going to charge for this kind of visit and that kind of visit. So, when your patients are like, I don't have insurance, they're still going to need care. And you're like, great. So we created this for you because we see what is going on. So one is that for your patients, it's like, okay, this person gets it and they care about us and all of these things. And two is now the cash pay model we all wanted this whole time, we can then build it. So at the end of the day, I'm looking for a piece of paper. You have never seen a one-sided piece of paper. You've never seen a one-sided piece of paper, which means everything that is a disadvantage has the advantage. So what is this disadvantage? Oh, my patients, they won't have insurance and all that stuff. What is the advantage? Oh, this cash pay thing, we can build it out. We can build it out. And that, like the overhead with that is so much lower and all of those things. And we can position ourselves as the answer. Let me tell you what many people won't do. They won't do that. They'll just cry. Oh, my patients don't have insurance and they have to go figure this out. Well, you can be the answer for your patients and it'll work for your practice, right? So that's the way I'm looking at it. Every piece of paper is a double-sided piece of paper. So there is a disadvantage. The question is then, what is the advantage? And now I'm going to work the advantage. So that's the approach. Yeah. But we're not going to cry for 2 seconds. In fact, for all we know, it is the beginning of the end of insurance companies. When I say beginning of the end, I don't mean they're going away, but I just mean their dominance now becomes a problem because people figure out they can do this in different ways. I think they shot themselves in the foot. They won't realize it just yet. Yeah. So those are my thoughts.
And And Dr. Uno, your predictions always come true. So you heard it here first, folks. Okay, we are going to bring Dr. Wing on. Dr. Wing is a member of the EntreMD Business School. Part of the one of the perks of joining the EntreMD Business School is that you also get the profitable private practice movement complimentary. You don't pay for it. And so he has joined some sessions, but he's going to talk about his experience with the EntreMD brand as a whole. So thank you, Dr. Wing, for joining. We're so glad to
All
have
right.
you.
I'm happy to be here as always. You all can hear me, right? Can you hear me?
I can't hear you, Dr. Wing. I don't know if it's me.
Uh,
Maybe your volume needs to be increased.
can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, what about now? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, some people can hear me. I don't know what happened. All right. Well, I'm going to talk and hopefully everybody can hear me. Yeah, my name is Ed Wing, and it's an interesting thing. Probably 6 months ago, I would have said I am the uh, CEO of, wrong hand, Lifetime Women's Health and Wellness Centers, right there, my little thing. However, of late, I've been saying I am the CEO of the Heavy Bleeding Center of Hampton Roads. And I'll tell you a little bit about that story, maybe as we go along. But I am OBGYN, and I have had a OBGYN general practice we are finishing our 13th year, about to start our 14th year. And I joined EBS back in 2023, I believe it was. And there was no PPPM at that time. It was EBS. That was it. And I think actually Scale started that year too. Is that about right? I think so. So all there was at that time was EBS. That was it. And I kind of got my start as this person who was kind of in the shadows, listening to this amazing doctor who had a podcast that came on every Monday. And I went through all of her podcasts in a very, very short period of time. And the reason why, just giving a little bit of history of how I got started, I kind of have gone through multiple different iterations of my professional life. I belonged to a big hospital-based group practice. I was a part of a small private practice, and I was not satisfied in either of those situations. And in 2013, 2012, actually, I kind of, said to myself, I really need to do this on my own. And I kind of had the mindset back then, like, yeah, if she can do it, I can do it. That was kind of my mindset. And so, I did my research. I tried to understand how to start a practice, and I did. I started it, and I can honestly say that at that time there was no one to help me. I mean, the people that were the other doctors who own private practices, they ghosted me. They would not talk to someone who is trying to start a practice in the same area that they were working in, because they saw it as just competition. I need to keep my piece of the pie. If I help you out, patients might come to see you. And so I did the best that I could. And I'm happy to say 13 years, later, I'm still here. So thank God for that. But it was not pretty. It was not pretty at all. And, you know, Dr. Unis speaks about her hard knocks. I had my hard knocks for many, many years. And when I started listening to the podcast of Dr. Una, I was just like, wow, this lady really knows a whole lot. Maybe I should really pay attention to what she's saying. And eventually decided to join EBS in 2023, like I said. And I'm in deep, when it comes to EBS. I mean, there's a bunch of us who refer to ourselves as, EBS for life. I think absolutely I'll wind up being one of those people. And it's just because I have seen the growth of my practice. The first 10 years were just kind of like, muddling along. But, since I've joined EBS, it has just been, glory to glory. Things are just changing and, getting better and better every day. I mentioned the Heavy Bleeding Center of Hampton Roads, and along that pathway, I just started having a real heart for helping patients that have heavy menstrual cycles. I mean, I've done that my whole 30-year career. There's nothing, it's not new, but there are just such treatments in this time in our history that, OBGYNs can really make a difference. And there is just nothing that warms my heart more than to see a woman who has come in with this problem leave completely transformed. And it's just so many areas. It changes, the energy because their anemia starts resolving. It changes their ability to go to work because many women have to take off of work because of these periods. Changes their relationship with their partner, which changes their families, which changes their community, which it's a big thing. And there are patients that come back to me 2, 3 years later, and they're just, you changed my life, Dr. Wing. That treatment you gave was just amazing to me. So, in looking back, I wind up talking a whole lot. Dr. Una knows that. But in my if I were to say, what I would do differently, if I was in this time period, but back then, PPPM is a opportunity for a blessing. And the reason is because there are just all these resources for you there that will give you the answers to all those questions that I didn't have anybody helping me back 10, 13 years ago. And the answers to those questions are really important because they'll help you to negotiate all of the different things. Like, Dr. Una gave the question about the insurance issue that's coming up. And yeah, that it's going to be challenging. I mean, I know that. But I'm not nervous about it. And the reason why I'm not nervous about it is because I- I'll do something different. And being my own private practice owner, it's just amazing when you actually see it. The speed at which I can change is amazing. I could literally say, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore and change it tomorrow
Mhm.
and do it completely differently, and that is something that I guess has been there all the time, but I never knew how to negotiate that previously. Now I can, and yeah, I'm going to go through the same struggles, the same thing. We have a lot of patients that take Medicaid. With cutting the Medicaid, that's going to, change the whole thing as well. But, again, there's just all of these things that I've learned through the whole EntreMD, ecosystem, that will help me do that. And looking back, I so wish that I had this, 7 years ago, because I would be so much, further along. I don't even know. I might be retired by now with, acting as the board of director, the chairman of the board of directors of Lifetime Women's Health or something. But we're getting there. We're getting there. But I just encourage you, if you haven't made the decision to do it, especially if you haven't started your practice yet, I think that that's the best time to join. And the reason is because as you're doing it, as you're starting it, you're just going to get all of this knowledge, all of these ideas, all of these ways. I don't remember who it was. It was Dr. Kaufman. It was Dr. Kaufman who, when she was starting her practice, she had created a wait list of patients so that the day she opened her practice, I want to say the number was 300 patients. I don't know if that's exactly right, but
350 on her wait list, 200 scheduled.
yeah. And day one, as opposed to me when I started, 13 years ago, by the time I had 200 patients total, it was like 8 months in,
Mhm.
and that's total. That's not, waiting to see me. And so, I think it's a great opportunity for you to join. And you know something, I'm going to say something. Dr. Una, turn your head, turn off your speakers. You're getting it for a steal, okay? Because I just kind of say the amount of money that she's charging for that is just, believe me, take it. Because it's, yeah, you won't get that anyplace else. Okay, Dr. Una, you didn't hear that. You didn't hear that. But it's honestly true. And one time I spoke and somebody thought that, I was a paid spokesperson for Entre MD. I am not. I don't get paid anything other than all of the blessings that I have derived from being part of this organization. And for that, every time Makita comes to me and asks me if I would speak, I'm like, absolutely, because I want to share, my experience and get you to come on board because you're just going to get good out of it.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
appreciate
that's
you
it.
so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Wayne. Can we give him some love in the comments? This was amazing. Thank you for sharing. I thank you for being with us on a Friday night. I know you're probably ready to start the weekend unless the babies decide to show up, but
There's always
but
a baby.
but thank you so much for sharing. And I love that you shared with us what's possible when you have a private practice. Having a private practice is a dream, right? Because it makes your dreams possible. You talked about how when you joined EBS, your profitability increased. You got the support and of a community. And then, one thing you didn't mention that I love about your story is, now you're able to spend time with your dad on rotation, every quarter, I think, right? You're able to take off every quarter to go spend with your dad who's, aging, which is amazing. So you're getting that dream life, dream business. So thank you so much for sharing your story. It was so inspirational. We appreciate it. Dr. Una, did you have anything to add?
Yes, I just want to give Dr. Edwin a shout out. Like I've heard your story a number of times. Of course, he
Building
keeps,
a cash
expanding
practice
as
in
we
a state
expected
where it
to.
is
But
illegal.
just wanted to say, thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for what you do. And just to acknowledge you because you're 13 years in, right? You could go like, yeah, I know all those things, like whatever, but you keep evolving, you keep adapting, you keep changing. And here you talk about like, yeah, the changes with insurance are coming, but the speed at which I can change, that is, I mean, that's amazing. And guys, that's the beauty of becoming an entrepreneur. Do you see that reaction? It's not like, oh, what, what are we going to do? It's like, I mean, it's coming. It'll be challenging. We'll figure it out. Right. And you can hear no stress or no tension in his voice because, like, yeah, we'll figure it out and it'll be a-okay. So thank you, thank you, thank you for sharing your story. That's really powerful. Really, really powerful. No one is ready. And when he talks about the heavy bleeding clinic, he has some big things coming up. I just have my popcorn. Like I watch on Trendy people like it's a movie. I just have my popcorn waiting to celebrate all the wins, and he'll come back and tell you all about that when it happens. So rooting for you. Thank you. Thank you. Love it.
Awesome.
So
Dr.
and I'll go back to what he said. He told me to look away, like look away, close your ears. But this is the deal, guys. Back in the day, we didn't have a resource. Now we do, right? And the resource is staring you the face for less than a cappuccino a day. So just, you know, Go save your spot and let's do this. Okay. All right. Makita, yes. Do you want to do some questions and then take another story?
Yes, Dr. Kwan was asking the difference between EBS and PPPM.
The difference between EBS and PPPM. The difference is they're different. Okay. So in the EBS was what existed first. Okay. No, there isn't a discount to join the group. The group is 1997 for the year. So, yeah. But there's a discount to join the group. Okay, so initially the first product we had was the EntreMD Business School, like Dr. Edwin talked about. And the EntreMD Business School is like the whole shebang, right? We're talking the community, we're talking weekly laser coaching sessions, we're talking live events that we have. And it is designed to take a physician from I'm a physician entrepreneur who can confidently run a 6, 7, multiple 7-figure business. I have this client who's at 9.5 million. I'm like, come on, woman, I'm trying to say 8. Okay, 6, 7, and 8 sounds better than 6, 7, and 7.5, right? It's multiple 7. So we're working on it. But that's what it's designed to do. Okay, so it's full-on immersion, full-on immersive experience. Some of the people on here are in the EntreMD Business School or alumni. Now, when we saw how devastating, like the devastating things happening in the private practice space, the team and I stopped and we said, okay, how do we support private practice owners where maybe you don't want to go all in or you don't believe you can go all in or whichever, but how can we give you what you need to build a profitable practice where it is a low lift, it's no risk. You can start getting results. The ROI on PPPM is immediate. Like you can start getting immediate ROI. Okay, in the comments, how many of you joined this week and you were in the call on Thursday, so yesterday, and you already have an ROI? Type in the chat. Like you already joined. You joined, you were in the call on Thursday. You already have a return on investment. Already. Dr. J said me. Who else? And the reason I'm saying that because you learn the thing, you do it like boom, like the result is there. The mindset shift alone, right, is just insane. Okay, so how do we build that? Now, ultimately, we will want you to come to the EntreMD Business School because there's so much more to do, right? But we're like, if we can show doctors how to fill their schedule, show them how to get paid for the work they do, and build profitable teams, anybody can have a profitable practice. Anybody, if they can learn that, anybody can have a profitable practice. Like you are no longer at risk of having a practice that doesn't work. Not at all. In fact, there's one of the doctors who is in PPPM who sent me a message like, Dr. Una, one of your 1,000, I crossed my million, right? Like, so we were looking for that. And that's how PPPM was born. It's a gift to every single private practice owner. Profitability will not be your problem. Now, you may say, but I want to build a business I can walk away from. I want to build a business and take 12 weeks off. I want to build multiple businesses. I want to impact this whole sector. That's EBS stuff. Okay. So that's the difference between the two. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Una.
But we don't do any fluff. So PPPM is not fluffy EBS. That's not what it is. We don't do fluff of any kind. Yes. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Una. Dr. Sharadi says, what should your profit margins be prior to looking at hiring another physician?
Okay, that's a great question. And I'm going to answer like a radiologist and say it depends, right? Radiologists will say clinical correlation is required. I'm like, come on, is it or is it not? But anyway, I love radiologists. Okay, so this is the idea. When you think about your private practice, I want you to think about you and your support team and the patients in your panel, almost like a first location, and your new doctor and the support and all that, like a second location, even though they're not two different locations, but it's thinking of them as profit centers, right? And so that means that what you do becomes the prototype. And so before you bring somebody else, it's not going to be perfect, but you want to work that prototype, right? And to make it, first of all, make it profitable, and then make it as profitable as it can be. Now, the profitability will depend on what, whether you're insurance or cash. It will depend on what specialty it is, because some specialties are equipment heavy, more so than others, right? So you want to look at what industry standards are. Like primary care, a lot of it will be 50 to 60%, 40 to 70%, somewhere around there. But ophthalmologists, it could be higher because they have a lot of equipment, right? Like, so you want to see what that is. So it's not so much the number as it, like, generally is somewhat related to your industry, and then you want to apply the principles to see how low you can get it. So for instance, in PPPM yesterday, we looked at 15 ways to increase your revenue and profit, right? And so industry standard for you might be 50%. But if you start applying those things, maybe you can get it to 45, maybe you can get it to 43, maybe you could get it to 40, right? But the bottom line is you want to build out the prototype and you want to make it as profitable as you can, then you start replicating that. And so when a doctor comes in and they're not quite doing what you do, you can troubleshoot their profitability, right? So I had a doc who worked for me who would do 93% 99213 visits. I'm like, there are 3 people here, 4 people here. We know this patient population. There's no universe where you have all 93% 99213s. And so the profitability from her clinic will be shot because she wasn't coding appropriately. But I could troubleshoot that because I know what I did to up my profitability. Do you see what I mean? So treat yours like, and just get it as low as you can get. Then look at industry standards to see for your specialty what it is. Yeah, but that's a great question. It's a great way of thinking about it.
Thank you, Dr. Una. Dr. Okeke says, how do you cold call or cold email or drop by clinics and get responses?
Well, so first of all, I will start by saying you are going to get a lot of no's and you're going to get a lot of, I wasn't able to get through. But that does not stop us because we are entrepreneurs. Okay, if you're a physician, it could stop you. If you're an entrepreneur, it will not stop you. Okay, so like I said earlier, I like known to the unknown, going from the known to the unknown. So again, if there are people in your world who are already referral sources, ask them who else you should talk to. Ask who they can do an introduction to, like if they could do a 3-way introduction, because that will get you past so many like front desk people and all of those things. Guys, your personal contacts are your assets. I think we should type this in the chat. My personal contacts are assets. You have to understand this, right? Because we would love to avoid them and talk to people we've never seen before. So if you have people in your world who could be referral sources, start with them. And then ask them, like, for instance, I'm a pediatrician, right? OBGYNs would be great referral sources. I have a friend who's an OBGYN. Which other OBGYN can you connect me to? Because now you're talking text message. You're not trying to get, you're not trying to cold call, right? Yeah, so you do that. And then you work to the unknown. So the unknown, you're literally going there. If you can't get to the doctor, you can get to the office manager. And then always be nice to the front desk, because sometimes they're the ones who give the referrals anyway, right? Especially depending on your specialty. Yeah. So, but then there'll be lots of no's, and that's fine. Like I said, the other lady, 11 months. But at the end of the day, 5 to 7 referrals a day. I would do the 11 months all day, every day, if that's what the result of the 11 months will be. Yeah. Okay.
Dr. Okeke is also wondering, is it okay to post your company info on another posting? For instance, I am a psychiatrist. If I see a posting by a therapist on Facebook, for example, I want to comment and leave my company name for psychiatry, but I am not trying to take over their post or change the subject.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily do that. I mean, except it's called for, I wouldn't do that. Now, as far as, is this in a group? Is this in a group or just on a general page? So if it's in a group, if you serve, they will look for you. So you're answering questions and all of that stuff, and you build a brand in the group, people will look for you. I have clients who they have like tons of patients, and it's like from 2 or 3 Facebook groups where they're always talking about it. So they showed up in the group. And I mean, this is the time for psychiatry, right? And so you're answering questions, you're doing all of that stuff, and they just know your name. But what that also means is that on your page, people shouldn't need to scroll to figure out who you are and how, like right where it says bio, you're like psychiatrist, this, call here for an appointment, or put your website or whatever. And your first, by the time they go through 3 posts, it should be very clear who you are, what you do, and how they can work with you. Otherwise, then it's a waste. They come and they're like, oh, she's cute and she has cute kids, and they walk away. You want to make sure, okay, type this in the chat. I'm an entrepreneur, not a content creator. We have to know who we are. Okay, so we show up and we do content and all of that stuff to support our entrepreneur endeavors. We're not there to be cute. We're not there we're not in competition to see who gets the most following. We're there as entrepreneurs. So when I come to your page, I shouldn't have to turn into the FBI to figure out what you do. I should land on the page and it should be immediately obvious what you do. Do you see what I'm saying? So we're not content creators, we're entrepreneurs who use content to grow our businesses. Do you see what I'm saying? But we're not content creators. And many content creators have 1 million followers and $2 in the bank. So you don't want to be a content creator. Yeah.
Okay, Dr. Anna, I won't say ouch because I'm not a content creator, so it doesn't matter. Dr. Todson says, I want to move to programs and memberships in my cash-based practice. I have tried to start converting fee-for-service to memberships that include labs and appointments, but having a hard time selling. Any ideas to make the memberships more appealing?
Yeah, okay, so I see this is the same question for Dr. D as well. Okay, all right, so whatever you're selling, as physicians, we are so into the process because we understand the process and it will help people. Nobody buys a process. Nobody cares. People don't even care about more labs. People don't care, like they kind of, but it was not what will make them buy. So when it comes to selling, we need to think about what matters the most to them. This is the results you would get. For instance, I could tell you, if you join PPPM, you'll get a call every week and you get this portal, and you get this place where you can go watch the replays. Important as it is, nobody cares. But if I tell you, if you join PPPM, we will show you exactly how to fill your schedule, exactly how to get paid for the work you do, and exactly how to build a profitable team so that you have a practice that allows you to have a lot of impact and financial freedom and time freedom. You're like, sign me up. Do you see the difference? So one is the process, the other is the outcome. Nobody buys the process. Same thing with the fitness. Let's say a personal trainer. Oh yeah, when you work with me, we will get to the gym at 7 o'clock and I'm going to put you do our warm-ups first. Then I'll put you on the elliptical. Nobody wants to be on the elliptical. We want to be skinny, but we don't want to get on no elliptical. Okay. Now, if you tell me that you will get me fitting in my skinny jeans before Christmas, now we're talking. Do you see what I mean? Is outcome, right? So when you think about your membership, what is the promise, Dr. D said, what is the promise of the membership? If they're part of this membership, what does it do for them? And this is what they care about. This is the way my husband said, everybody's tuned into a radio station, WIIFM. What's in it for me? They don't care about us. They don't care about our businesses. They don't care about our programs. In fact, I see people, let me do this live to tell you why I'm passionate about this kind of clinic. Nobody cares. They don't care. They're not thinking about your passion. They don't care. What they care about is what that will do for them. Right? So with the membership, you're selling from the standpoint of what is the difference this will make, whether that is weight loss, whether that is longevity, and not these words, the words they will use, right? Whether this is longevity, whether, like there was somebody I was talking to, I think she does like chronic care and stuff like that, diabetes, reversing chronic disease. And I'm like, and so many of her patients, they have family members, right? With that, you want to live longer. You don't want to get an amputation. You want to dance with your daughter at her wedding. That's what they care about. They don't care about our process. So figure out what it is they want, like the solution your business offers. And then you're going to position that as this is what the membership will give you. Because it has to be something they want, not what they need. People don't necessarily do what they need. It's what they want. Okay, what they want. Okay. And then the other thing you want to do is to incentivize it. So for instance, your fee for service needs to be high enough that it makes sense to do the membership instead. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, oh, well, I guess I'll just do that, right? Yeah. So those are a few things to do, but the most important thing is people want what they want, and people do not buy processes. So for instance, people are like, oh, I'm a board certified pediatrician and I trained here and I have that certification and we bought this equipment. No, nobody cares at all. They just want what they want. So skip all the way to what they want and start selling them that, and then incentivize them to do the membership over the fee for service. So those are two places to start from. Yeah. And that's all selling, any selling. Nobody buys a process. Nobody. So people will sometimes say, well, you get this number of visits. Nobody wants visits. You see what I'm saying? They want what they want. Nobody has woken up in the middle of the night like, oh, I just want to have a package with many visits. No, like nobody wants visits. So we start paying attention. What is it that they want? And we start using that language. Yeah. So Dr. Todd, give those a shot. Let us know how it goes. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Una. Dr. Angie asked a question about the percentage of people that have been successful in PPPM. So I have another guest who is currently in PPPM, Dr. Okoto. Could you come on camera, Dr. Okoto, and just tell us your story, your experience in PPPM?
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Welcome.
I just have to say hi. Okay, I'm gone now. Hi, Dr. Akuda. So fun to see you here.
Hi, thank you. Okay, so my name is Akudo. A little bit of background. I'm a sleep medicine doctor. So I have a practice with my husband. It's a multi-specialty practice, primary care, internal medicine, sleep medicine, and some aesthetics. So I think I was wrapping up fellowship when my husband got into EBS, I'm sorry. And we talked, so we had a plan to set a practice. And initially we were looking for someone who could help us with what kind of EMR, faxing system, message, all of those logistics. And then somehow we got to hear about Dr. Una and we knew Funke. So we had a talk with Funke and Funke said, well, I think you want to come to EBS. And then I was like, oh my goodness, where are we going to raise that money from? And then I had this leftover money from fellowship. And I said, let's take this money and put it in. And that was how my husband got into EBS. And then he would share some of the lessons. I'm like, oh my goodness, you're learning all of these. And so during one of these workshops, Dr. Una said, talked about the PPPM. I was the first to buy my membership and I paid all of it right away. And I'm so glad that I did that. And so maybe I might answer the question so many people have about, should you get into PPPM before starting your practice? The answer is absolutely yes. I wish I started many months ago before starting my practice. And so I got a few questions to talk about. I don't know if to follow those question outlines or just to talk, but let's see how. So the first question I have is, what values do I get from PPPM? The first thing is a mindset shift. And I think that's really where it starts from, thinking of yourself. And, those questions I was asking about messaging, fax system, EMR, all of that. Did I need them? The answer was yes, but they all came together along the way because yes, you get all those things, but where are the patients, right? And so that mindset shift that, okay, you're not just a clinician, you're there because the clinic has to thrive. And so if you're not making money, then you're going to close the clinic and go home. Having that mindset shift was one thing that I really got from all the sessions. Another thing is clarity, right? Every Thursday that we come, I tell my MAs, don't schedule any patients. And okay, this is a little bit of an aside. I also work with a hospital group. I'm part-time at my practice. So, and then when I'm working, I'm like, hey, it's 12 to 1 Thursdays. Don't schedule any patients. I'm not seeing any patients. And I focus, I get all the things that we need to do. the actions. Like yesterday, the first 15 things that were listed, I came home and I told my husband, let's go over all of these. Let's take notes. Which ones are we doing? What are we not doing? What do we need to do better? And let's get into action, So there's so much clarity. There's so much. And so every week I'm sending text messages to my team. My team is me, my husband, and my MA. And I'm like, these are the goals, 5 goals for the week. This is what we're going to achieve, right? Because I'm going to all those classes and I'm like, this is what we need to do. So structure, accountability, right? You're being asked, what are your wins? And so I'm like, okay, what did I do last week with my time? Things like that. So that just keeps me accountable. Talk about relationships, right? We have a WhatsApp group. We ask questions there. You're meeting people. And let's even talk about relationships I've had by doing things that, I was asked to do, we're asked to do, like calling. So someone asked about, what do you do? How do you handle cold calling? I have done that like so many times. So there was something she told Dr. Lerner said to build 100,
Dream 100.
yeah. I built 200, and I think I have spoken to at least 100 of physicians, and so much so that when I'm talking with this physician, and then that physician mentions another physician's name, I happen to know that other physician. That's just how much I have been calling providers in my area, talking to them, saying, hey, I'm here, my practice is here, send me your patients, things like that. So all of that good stuff. Okay, next question. What has been your biggest takeaway since you became a part of PPM? So again, the transformation, the mindset, right? And you come for those meetings and you just hear one thing and you take it and you run, right? Things like visibility is not optional. And I'm like, okay, where's my phone? Let's start making videos. I don't care about where's my mic? I don't care. I don't care about, is there lighting? I just make the videos. I'm in clinic. I came out of a room. I saw a patient. Oh, that looks like an interesting case. I make a video and I send it out right away. Things like that. You hear, go back, go again. And so, okay, she talked about, I go for the no's essentially. I know I'm going to get no's because sometimes I'm like, oh my God, am I really doing this? With front desk staff not letting me get through. But I have actually gotten through to so many providers. I recently connected with a provider. So I called and the clinic manager answered the call. She's like, oh, come over. We'd like to have you. Would have lunch. And I was like, oh my God, I don't want to buy lunch anymore. We're still growing. And then she said, oh, we're going to make lunch for you. We make lunch for our patients. I'm like, really? I will be there. And, I went there and I spoke with the physician and, just connecting with providers. It's just amazing. And so the what you get from being a member is not just your practice growing. Everything about you just grows, right? You make connections with people in the movement. You make connections with the providers that you interact with. And, I was with this physician. He was sharing his secrets, how he exploded his practice. This physician, his concierge practice, his patients are paying him $20,000, $35,000 a year. And I'm like, say that again. And he's like, come see my sleep medicine patient. I'm like, I'm here for it, so making such connection, that is just, and I would not have done that if I didn't hear, go and meet referral sources, essentially, and then, okay, let me move to the last question. What wins? So when we started, I think we started with 1 patient in the month of April. I think we have 17 patients scheduled next week. So we've really grown. What else have we done? We built a 200 provider referral list, social media presence, TikTok. Yesterday, I got a patient from TikTok. I was like, whew, finally, YouTube, Facebook, all of that, just being out there, really. We made 100 5-star Google reviews, and then I've been on Fox before. I got an invitation to do another segment. What else? I've spoken to groups, ENT providers, primary care doctors, and all of that. Now, other things, confidence, right? I used to be someone, don't bring me out there. I don't want to be there. But this, I don't even care, right? Do I have makeup? I don't care. I just talk and I just show up and I show up and I do what I need to do essentially. So understanding value, pricing, so when I started, I was like, well, are we doing insurance? Are we doing cash pay? I'm so confused, blah, blah, blah. And then all of those things just begin to take shape as you interact with people, you get ideas, you see opportunities, you jump on it. There's been referral sources that I've spoken to, they're older people, and I'm like, okay, these are people to hang around. These are practices that I can acquire in the future, things like that. You begin to see things that you never saw before. What else? Why should you join the private practice? Okay, so this one, because it's real, the results are real. They start right away. Like you can't beat it. It changes you, not just the practice. It's not just there for you to be profitable, but you change. You become a different person. You see things differently. And lastly, there's just something about being a member. If you do the work, you will succeed. There's something about Dr. Una that being around her produces success. So it's nothing, you shouldn't even think twice about it. If you're on the fence, you've not started your practice, I think it's the best decision that you want to make.
Thank you so much for sharing. I feel like I should clap. You did. This was amazing. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thanks.
I am so proud of your success, so proud of everything you've been able to achieve in such a short time. And, just the transitions that have happened in your personal life, in the business, and even in yourself as a person. When you talked about the confidence and, being able to do the things that before you would have had to second guess and just going out there. I mean, you're just on the road to success, and it's beautiful and inspirational to watch. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for sharing all the things that the movement has done for you. I'm going to give Dr. Una a chance to share as well.
So I've been looking forward to hear your story. Okay, in the comments, you guys let me know. This practice started in April. Okay, you'll find that she's more confident as an entrepreneur than people who have been private practice owners for a decade. And you heard what she said. Oh, this referral source is older. I need to stay close to the person. I may acquire their practice in the future. Do you see the level of possibility thinking? It is so, this is what I mean when I say you don't wait, and every physician needs to start the process of becoming an entrepreneur. Even if you own a $3 million practice, you may not be an entrepreneur, but you need to learn these things. So I want you to think about it. If she's talking like this for a practice that started in April, what do you think she will be like after a decade? No, type in the chat, pick a word, type in the chat. Because this is wild. This is wild. This is what happens when, and she does the work. Like Dream 100, Dr. Una, what are you trying to do? I do Dream 200, thank you very much, right? But look at that. Amy said, oh, she'll be very retired, right? She built it, she built the business system, she's retired. She'll be unstoppable. Like, guys, this is what we need to become. The version of us that, we do whatever they throw at us, we're victims of the system and all of those things. And I'm not being sarcastic, right? It's just the system we find ourselves in. It's unfortunate, it's challenging, it's unfair, it doesn't make sense. This is not the dream that we went to, 10 years of training and multiple six figures in debt for. Yes. And if we can retool ourselves, we can go from that to this. If we can retool ourselves, we can get back in control, right? Like, so if it's like, oh, a hospital opened beside her and, what is going to happen to her patient? You can already tell she knows what to do, right? She wants to hit a number. She knows what to do. With the kind of referral source she sees building, when the snowball hits, it'll be a wrap. She'll be like, Dr. Una, I need to hire 2 doctors before the end of the, like, what do we do? I said, I've been waiting for you. Let's go. Do you guys see that? Okay, you guys show us some love, okay? Dr. Kudo, thank you. Thank you for sharing your story. And thank you for doing the work. You took it and you ran with it. So someone was asking, like, well, more so, this is a question we get a lot, Makita and I, like, what percentage of the people succeed? I'm like, it doesn't matter. It's like asking what's the percentage of people who get into medical school? That's not the question you asked. You decided you were going to succeed. You decided you were going to get into that school. Clearly, Dr. Akudo has decided, like Dr. Akudo renewed like a month before she was due for renewal. Okay, I was just like, she's like, let's go. Let's go, right? That's the attitude. We decide we're going to succeed. On our side, on TrainView, we have decided to support you so you succeed. This is a match made in heaven. You have the attitude, you cannot not succeed. There's no other way to go. Do you see what I'm saying? So, man, this is good. I am so happy for you. I'm so proud of you. And you have no idea what you're setting yourself up for, but I promise you it's good. It's really good.
Yeah.
Love
Thank
it.
you.
Okay. So, ontrainview.com/movement, guys. Like Dr. Una is doing her best for the physician community. Okay. Okay. Makita, do we have any questions? If I sign up initially for the month to month, when would it start? It will start when you sign up. No, it will not start in January. It will start from when you sign up. Yeah. So it'll be like, think of it as 30 days, 30-day cycles. Yeah. Okay. All right. Good. I think I saw Dr. Onyi say she can't wait for her first session. And Dr. Onyi, if you haven't watched the replay from yesterday, watch it. It's really good. I already gave you homework. Don't worry about it. Watch that too, but watch the first two I told you about. Yeah. Okay. Okay, good. Okay, Makita, over to you.
Okay, more questions?
Yeah, we can do that. Oh, and remember, we are going to have the private practice summit, first of its kind, solely for private practice. We are going to binge on all things private practice in person for 2 days, May the 15th and the 16th. That's a Friday and a Saturday, in person in Atlanta. And everybody who signs up gets 50% off their ticket, which is $1,500 off. So I don't know, right? If you sign up for something, it's $19.97 and you get $1,500 off. I think you're, yeah. Okay. All right. So, and that goes away Sunday at midnight, 11:59 Eastern. Okay. Okay. All right. Makita, over to you.
Okay, Dr. Julie said, my partner and I are starting a derm practice and are leaning differently as to whether we will take insurance or go cash pay with Superbill. Can your program help flesh out the decision? Would love your ideas.
So if we were doing a rapid fire Q&A, maybe, because the focus is very specific what our focus is. But as far as cash or insurance, I'll just give you really quickly, really high level. Either one would work. Okay. And there are pros and cons of each one. Okay. The pros of insurance is people understand the model and many people have insurance and it may be easy, quote unquote, easier, not really, but easier to get clients in the beginning. The cons of that is you have to deal with the insurance company shenanigans. Does that model work? Yes. Has that model been working? Yes. Will the model continue to work? As far as we know, yes. Okay. So the pro, the con. For your cash pay, will that model work? Absolutely. What is the pro of that model? You don't have to deal with the insurance companies, right? So your overhead will be lower. You don't have to deal with the denials and the prior authorizations and all of those kind of things. What is the con? You must learn how to sell. You must show up as though you were a coach, as if you were a startup who running a tech company or whatever. Like you are full on marketing and sales, because the culture, people they understand that, but they don't understand that as much. So sometimes people walk into that model with the attitude of, I will hang a shingle and they will come. You will be shocked how they will not come. Right? Now, is that a problem? It's not a problem. It just means that's the skill that I need to learn. I need to learn how to market. I need to learn to sell. I need to be comfortable talking about money. I need to be comfortable looking a patient in the eye and having no guilt when I ask them for money. We live in an economic world. Mm-hmm. Right? And so is understanding what will be required of you. And if you are in the insurance model, you will need to play the volume game. It's low ticket, high volume. It's the volume game. So if you're like, no, I really want to spend an hour and a half to 2 hours with every patient, that's a cash pay model. You don't want to touch insurance with a 10-foot pole. So it's understanding each of these models have rules. And then you look at the rules and then you make an informed decision. Okay. So I have people all the time who tell me, oh, I'm insurance, but I only want to see 10 patients a day. Don't start then. You need a job because this is not going to work. The math, there's no way to make the math. Right. So those are the things to think about. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Along those lines, Dr. Gayer posted, how do you navigate building a cash practice in a state where it's illegal to charge cash for a patient with Medicaid? And as a side note, 100% of my patients have Medicaid or TRICARE, and she is pediatric palliative medicine.
Okay, so there are two ways of looking at it, right? So one is that you don't take care of people who have Medicaid or TRICARE. Like, I'm sure there are people who are there. That would require looking to like new pockets of the community. That will require a lot of selling. That will require like, kind of ripping up what you have and rebuilding. People have done it. I'm not saying do or don't do, but that's what will be required. In the Medicaid model, you can also look at the numbers. I'm not telling you to do this, but I will tell you my practice is 60% Medicaid, and that's the way I want it. Like I want them to have access to great care or whatever. But then I'm also clear that the path to profitability is efficiency. I understand that it will be a volume game. I understand that I have to play that game. Okay. So I chose that I was going to still do Medicaid, and then I played the volume game. Okay. And because of that, we're still very successful. We've been in business for 15 years. Right. So you can decide I don't do that anymore and I want to do cash and I want to do that. Or you decide I'm going to play the volume game. Either model will work. Like, so sometimes people are very mad with the insurance model. I'm like, the insurance model works, but you have to understand the rules of the game and play the game. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. Okay.
Okay, Dr. Una, it looks like the rest of the questions are about the movement. Dr. Hannah said, if I sign up this weekend, do I show up this Thursday?
Yes. And you get access to everything we've done. So even the trainings I've been telling people to go watch and all of that, you get access to all of those. And those will change your world, like completely change. So like Dr. Akudo was talking about changing, it'll rock your world.
This is a funny question, Dr. Una. It's
Yes.
funny, not funny. How many patients do you see a day, Dr. Una?
I'm retired. Dr. Una is retired. Okay. Again, not recommending. When I saw my first patient, Makita is laughing because we talked about the great divorce for so long before I retired. When I saw my first patient in, what year was that? 2008. I saw my first patient October 6th or October something, 2008. And I walked out of the room and I remember it being so anticlimactic. I was like, wait, so what I just did, I'm going to do this 25 times a day till I retire? To me, it felt like I had been on a speed lane making progress my whole life and I came to a screeching halt. So that's the way it felt. To me, it's not the way it is, it's the way it felt to me. I was like, I can't. And I was like, I have 10 years to give this. After that, I'm done. To put this in context, I didn't know what was next. I didn't know anything about what I'm doing now, but I was just like, I cannot. There's no universe where I do this, right? And so from the beginning, I built my business in a way that it can work without me. Like I started that process early on. It took me about 9 years, but after 9 years, I was done. I haven't set foot in my practice it will be 4 years on the 27th, so I'm retired. I don't see patients. But when I did, the average for my practice is 25 patients a day because we worked out the math. The math has to math. And if we're seeing this volume of patients, they can be Medicaid, they can be whatever, we'll be okay, right? Yeah. And I got so good at it, like in the peak of flu season, I would see 35 patients, 39 patients. I would not have a single note when I go back home because I learned to play the game because that's the game I chose to play. So the point is, pick the game, then play the game. Don't be in a basketball court and mad that you can't kick the ball. You can't kick the ball. You're not playing football. You're soccer, right? You're not playing soccer. You're playing basketball. So choose the game, then obey the rules of the game. Yeah. So that's kind of how that works.
Dr. Sadana asks, is there a direct link to sign up for the summit in Atlanta in May? Also, will the content help a physician entrepreneur in Canada?
Yeah, so we have a number of people in Canada, both in PPPM and in EBS. We've always had people from Canada. The direct link will give that to you. We don't have that right now, but for everyone who signs up, when we have the link, then you'll have the coupon code for 50% off.
Let's see, Dr. Resnick, if I sign up for 1 month for now and love it, would it be possible to later sign up for the annual plan starting in January?
Yeah, you can do that. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dr. Morrison, how did you manage closing and committing those notes in a timely fashion? I
I mean,
guess
in the
that.
beginning, so it starts with intent, right? The starting point is intent. And then the second point is something like we talk about quite a bit in PPPM, like you only do what only you can do. So everything else anybody else could do, they did it. I didn't do it. Like they would prep everything, prep my prescriptions, prep everything. Like I only did what only Dr. Una can do this. Anything else, I didn't touch it. I didn't touch it with the 10-foot pole. Yeah. And then I learned how to be efficient in the room, right? Like, so once, like, because sometimes you're in the room for a long time, but it's just because the mom is trying to calculate how much milk she gives the kid. All you said is, how much milk does the kid drink a day? Oh, yeah. When I come back from work at 2 a.m., then he gets 6 ounces. And then she asks her husband, oh, and I cut all that. I got a simple form. Think of all that stuff in the waiting room. By the time you get in the room, I have all the answers I want. So we can talk about why you're really here. So I learned to be efficient, right? I chart as I go. I did all the things. Yeah. Yeah.
That is all the questions I see, unless I missed someone. That's it.
Yeah. Dr. Sabrina says, I'm struggling with volume
Okay.
versus providing good value care, seeing less patients. I'm endocrinology, insurance reimbursements are becoming a joke. Yeah. Yeah. So we play the game, and there are many games, right? Like, the insurances, which ones you want to accept, which ones not. But if you're in insurance model, efficiency is the name of the game. It's a game. Okay. Dr. Resnick, I'm telemedicine, solo direct care only. Will it work for me? It will work for every kind of private practice, because we're not teaching you insurance. What we're teaching you is fill your schedule, get paid for the work you do, build a profitable team. Every practice needs this, whether it's telemedicine, whether it's cash-based, whether it's insurance-based. These are 3 things everybody needs. Yeah. So that's the way we built it. Yeah. Someone's asking if they could sign up in January. You can, but the 50% off for the private practice summit, that goes away on Sunday night.
One more question. I would like to pivot to cash pay, but having problems leaving my Medicaid patients. How do you make the transition without feeling guilt?
Yeah. Well, there's no guilt, right? I mean, if you want to feel better about it, you can find a place that would be your recommendation that they go to, and you're like, this is where everybody goes. As of this day, we'll no longer take that. And some people will tell you you're a greedy doc and all of those kind of things, but you brace yourself for impact. It's okay. But if you've made the decision that because remember, your business is a means to an end, right? Your business is a means to an end. So for the life you're trying to build, if having a Medicaid heavy practice is not taking you there, then you owe it to yourself to build the life that you want to build. Do you see what I'm saying? So there's no like, you will have the invitation to feel guilty, but don't take it. Do you see what I'm saying? Don't accept it. Just, do what you can for them, which is provide them with a referral to somebody who will take good care of them, and then send them there. And when the ones who lash out, just understand that hurting people hurt people. And when people are upset and they haven't learned how to control their emotions, they do that, right? And that's okay. So just, let them be great. Don't feed into it. It has nothing to do with you. Dr. Elise, I posted the direct link to the monthly payments. The option is there. Dr. D is like, this was excellent, Dr. Una, thanks. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. I'm glad you're in the movement. We're going to have so much fun. So much fun. Okay. All right. So Makita, we're good?
I
We
think
got
that's
everybody?
it. I think those are all the questions. I don't think
Okay.
I missed anyone.
Okay, everyone. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how was this whole workshop for 5 days? How was it? Let me know in the chat. How was it? How was it? Because this was so good. So good. I'm grateful. I'm grateful that we did it. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Okay. All right. So we're going to do something here before you leave. I'm going to put here a link. and it's for our Google reviews. And if you can grab this, oh, hi, Dr. Lisa. I said our first time. I'm glad you came. I'm glad you came. So that's the link for our Google reviews, okay? If you can grab that link and leave us a review, Dr. Una personally likes 5 stars, just saying. Okay, so if you can leave us a review, that will be amazing. Just let people know the experience that you had, all of those things. We're all about supporting physicians, and this helps us get the word out there. If those of you who joined PPPM, welcome. I can't wait for the journey we're going to go on to have together. And if you are on the fence, this is $5.50 a day. It costs you more to overthink the decision. That's what it comes to. It comes to $5.50 a day, which if you lost $5, you wouldn't even remember, right? So don't let overthinking get you to the place where you don't make a decision that can completely turn your practice around, okay? Okay. All right. So rooting for every single one of you. Thank you for the reviews that you guys are going to leave. Welcome to those of you who've come into PPPM. Can't wait to welcome those of you who are coming. Okay. And the Private Practice Summit, I can't wait to start talking about it more. It's going to be so fun. And so for you guys getting 50%, it'll be that much easier for you to come to Atlanta, and we're going to have a great time, okay? Dr. D says, look at you with the Google reviews. I'm stealing this hack right now. After my trainings, I'm totally asking for reviews. Yeah, so I'm a practitioner of what I preach, right? I practice what I preach, so you can see me do it in real time. In fact, I told the doctors in the EntreMD Business School who are coaches, I'm like, come watch me execute a workshop so you can go execute the workshop. My businesses are labs where I just practice all the things. I come tell, okay, this is what is working. This is not what is working, okay? All right. Rooting for you guys. Dr. Peg, the link is entremd.com/movement. Makita just posted it there. Okay. Rooting for every one of you. Good night, everyone.